Hello and welcome to another Tuesday tip. I'm Pam Keslowskis, one of the trainers here at Navigate. First of all, let me wish everybody a happy new year. I hope you all enjoyed the holidays and are ready to start fresh on what's going to be an interesting year for us in housing. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about a HOTMA checkup and what you should be looking for and looking at as we go through the months preparing for the implementation date. So where do things stand now? Right now, your EIV policies and your selection plans should be updated. They were due by May 31st. So by now you should have updated but not implemented those. You want to make sure that you've taken any HOTMA training that you need. Navigate will be doing some HOTMA training once we're sure that we have the final version of what HOTMA is going to look like for us. Be sure that your tenant records and any other data that needs to be entered into your software is ready to go. You may want to look through all your files and make sure everything's accurate and ready to enter, or fix anything in tracks that needs to be updated. And the implementation date as of right now is still July 1st, 2025. There's some discussion as to whether that looks like that's actually going to happen, but that's what we're going with right now. Okay, so the implementation date was in the HUD notice. The original implementation date has long passed, and now it has been updated to July 1st, 2025. The thing that is delaying that is largely Tracks 203A. That has to be up and running for us to make the full switchover, and all of the HUD forms, leases, etc. have to be issued. At this point, HUD is saying they do expect to be ready to roll by July 1st, and they should issue notice if they find that that's not going to be realistic. So can the owner implement anything now? You can. Navigate strongly recommends that you don't implement anything until we are absolutely sure that things are going to roll on July 1st. And if you choose to implement some things now, you need to have documentation in every file. For instance, if you decide to implement any changes that result in you having to override a 5.9, you are going to have to show what the rent is with the HOTMA rules and what the rent would have been if you didn't implement the HOTMA rules. So it's going to create extra work for you if you implement things now versus waiting for the July 1st date, which is why we're recommending you don't do that yet. Is Navigate going to offer training? We absolutely are, but we are waiting for guidance and documents to be finalized. We're waiting for Tracks 203A to be issued, and we want to make sure that as far as we know and as far as HUD knows, there aren't going to be any further changes before that implementation date. So as soon as we are sure that things are going to roll on July 1st and we're sure of the final version, we will be offering training. So steps to take now: train your staff. There are a lot of changes with HOTMA, a lot of things that are going to affect the way you calculate and determine eligibility. So make sure your staff has training. You're going to develop and implement a communication plan for your residents and applicants. Remember, there are certain things that have to be available for review, a lot of changes that are potentially going to implement residents and applicants. So you want to make sure you have a plan to issue those changes to them. You're going to develop and issue your policies. You had to have your tenant selection plan and your EIV policy already done. So if for any reason you have not done that yet, make sure you're getting it done. And you want to update the specific forms that you are using. There are some things that are going to have to change. There are some forms that HUD will be issuing, so you want to watch for HUD's issuing of new forms, things like the lease, the 5.9, and some other documents. You want to make sure that you keep an eye out for those to be issued and make sure you're ready to roll with those by the deadline. So where do you watch for updates? HUD is going to issue those through their mailing lists or through their multifamily housing page. Navigate will issue any changes that we're aware of through our mailing lists and through the Tuesday tips. And then you can also look at professional industry sites that will issue the changes as well. As always, we would like to know what you would like to see on a Tuesday Tips. So let us know if there's anything that you would like us to cover. You can let us know through our email. You can email Vicki or me, and that'll do it for today. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.